Hello, good evening, everybody. This is your host, Club Brother, the Club That Sports Board, live right here, Leesburg, Virginia, Loudoun County area. Today, ladies, I'll talk to you guys about the fact that Roger Goodell made his statement today. He admits that the NFL was wrong and that he and the NFL should listen to the players on racism and social injustice or racial injustice. By the way, I will definitely get you guys to that for sure. I'll talk to you guys also about the fact that Anthony Joshua was injured. He wore a brace, that is, after he had a slight twinge on his left knee. That as well, trained that is, as he spoke in the Black Lives Matter. That is in Watford, England, by the way. Talk to you guys about Drew McIntyre's birthdays today and takeover in your house, and Amanda Nunez defending the women's featherweight title against Felicia Spencer. That's tonight, by the way, and other details going to come. So I'm gonna get you guys to that for sure for now. But I want to start things off with this though, that Roger Goodell made a video yesterday with national television, and he admits that he and the NFL were wrong. He and the NFL should have listened to the players and the athletes on racism and race or social injustice or racial injustice, by the way. And he says right here that the NFL admits they were wrong for not listening to the players, encourages people to speak out and peacefully protest, by the way. He says the NFL condemns racism and systematic oppression of black people. We believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be a part of a much needed change in this country. Without black players, there would be no NFL. And the protests all over the country and across the globe are emblematic of centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We're listening, and I will reach out to players who raise their voices and others on how we can move forward together for a better and more unified or u- unified or united NFL family. So basically, it says right here that I want to get this on my chest. So Roger Goodell admits that he and the NFL weren't listening to the players, nor the coaches. They were listening to the fans. So my initial reaction to this was, this should have been a whole lot sooner, you know? Why didn't you mention it sooner? I mean, yes, Black Lives Matter, and no sport condones racism or racial injustice or any of that. And since that video surfaced, this past week of showing OBJ, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, and Patrick Mahomes, and many others on racism, social injustice, by the way, especially what happened to George Floyd and others. This brings a lot of attention, though, because I think that this is something that really needs to be heard. I think this is something that, which is getting a lot of attention for everybody. And yes, racism is a big deal. I can tell you that, and it has affected our lives, depending on how we feel, how we react, how we respond to things, and what people are going to think of us. Doesn't matter what heritage we come from, country, culture, background, and apparently it's affected. Racism has affected all of us. I mean, this is not just this does not have anything to do with the national anthem or the protest. I'm sorry, national anthem or the U.S. flag. This says protest and police brutality. So basically, I'm not. I don't want to apologize for saying this. I really don't know if the NFL is going to reconsider bringing back Kaepernick. I mean, yes, Kaepernick was kicked out back in 2016 when he was kneeling during the anthem, that is, and during the protest. But the reason why he kneeled was because of police brutality and racism, that is. So I wonder for sure if the NFL or any teams are going to consider kneeling during the anthem or just like lock arms. I mean, yes, some players like Eric Reed and Kaepernick, who started the whole thing, and all the and certain other players, they've kneeled in the protest. In other sports, they've kneeled during the anthem. So it's really important though that we need to at least be held accountable for our own actions. I think it's really important though that we need to speak out on racism. We need to speak out on the truth. We need to make a change. We need to at least find a resolution that's going to end police brutality. So my question is to Roger Goodell: how are fans going to feel about this? How are fans? Yes, it's well said, but how are fans really going to feel about what you said yesterday? So yes, it's a good approach. Yes, it is, and I know racism is a big deal in our lives, and police brutality hasn't ended since, but it has to. Police brutality has to end. Racism is not going to be tolerated anywhere. I can tell you that right now. So apparently, it's not that it's going to get him in trouble. Oh no, he's just saying what has to be said. I mean, yes, he could have done this a few years ago from 2016. He never did that. And is it really safe to say that Kabinet's going to get a comeback? I don't want to go. I don't want to jump ship to that just yet. I do want to say that yes, black lives, they always matter. They always have, they always will. I mean, we're sick and tired of seeing black individuals be deceased by cops. It doesn't matter the race, the gender, the country they came from, the religion, their culture, their background, their parents. It wouldn't matter. The size, the height, the weight. It really doesn't matter because there needs to be a resolution that's going to wipe out police brutality from assassinating black individuals. There needs to be a resolution that's going to wipe away racism for good. And yes, it's affected the sports industry. Yes, it's affected everyone's lives. I mean, the real world it has, sports world it has, the globe, the country, everyone on social media, they're sick and tired of it. They want police brutality to end. And listen to the approach. I think the NFL could change within just a matter of minutes. I think the NFL, this may be the next step that the NFL needs. I think other leagues, other sports leagues are probably going to take this approach as well, though, and have their voices heard, which they have. So it's good to know that Roger Goodell's starting to come around a bit. I can tell you that. And obviously, well done, Roger Goodell. So you made it on national television that you're wrong, that you should have listened to your players, listen to the fans, that is. But, you know, that's just how it has to be. So that's all you guys can know for now. Another is I want to get down to, by the way, Anthony Joshua, unified champ, was injured after he was training. That is, he suffered a slight twinge on his left knee. That is, while he was training. He spoke out during a Black Lives Matter protest rally in Watford, Watford, England, by the way. So, yes, Black Lives Matter everywhere, all over the country, all over the globe. And it's just a shame that, you know, we're, we're living in a country we're in a country right now where there's all this peril that's going on, and this coronavirus has done some collateral damage. I mean, the protests, what happened to George Floyd, and yes, the first funeral was yesterday in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he was deceased by four cops who are in jail, and then earlier today he had another memorial service. There's another memorial service for George Floyd in North Carolina, and it's just a shame that essentially that what happened to George Floyd was a senseless and heinous, malicious federal crime. So, guys, I understand that the black community is in disarray. It's hurting right now. It's a lot of pain. I feel your pain, guys. Yes, I'm a black star, black individual myself. A black mega star like myself. I think everyone's voices have to be heard for many athletes, and obviously, it's just sad, and nobody, really wants to be there because 2020 has been a complete dumpster fire lately, and looks of things right now are just not looking good right now. I mean, the racism and racial protest and what happened to George Floyd was a heinous, you know, a heinous federal hate crime. I mean, when one of the officers, Derek Chauvin, who was arrested in jail now, had his knee on the back of George Floyd's neck, couldn't even breathe for 8 minutes 46 seconds, and obviously people weren't satisfied at all. I can tell you that right now. So I know just for some reason that police brutality's goddamn it. I mean, 57 cops got released. After two cops in Buffalo, they got suspended because they pushed an old man. I mean, really, police versus protesters. It's just awful news. I mean, it's like the entire country is being split apart, and so I think that we're all equals. We all need to get. We're all on the same page. Let's just be kind of one another. Let's just put our differences to the side, and let's all just at least show some compassion, show some love, show some decency. That's all you gotta do. That's all I'm gonna say right there, everybody. On that, I'll come back to that for sure. Also, I want to say happy birthday to Drew McIntyre, to the Claymore Country Zone, the Claymore Kicks. Drew McIntyre, he's the WWE champ, by the way. Wish him happy birthday. He's a former NXT champ, former Impact champ, and current WWE champ, by the way. Wish Drew McIntyre happy birthday, by the way. Please do so in the comment section down below. And I know he beat Brock Lesnar, so that's surprising news right there. Back at WrestleMania 36. Good news right there. So changed everything. I will say that for sure. Make no mistake about that. Others I want to point out: Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer for the UFC Women's Featherweight title is tonight. By the way, catch Amanda Nunes in action. She takes on Felicia Spencer for the UFC Women's Featherweight title, and it'll be a good match. So don't miss out. It's must see, must watch. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll change everything. I can tell you that right now. So don't miss it, everybody. Don't miss it. Also, some others I want to point out, by the way, that Sasha Banks and Bailey, they walked out as the new as two-time women's tag team champs. As Alexa Bliss and Nick Cross lost women's tag team titles, Bailey became Bailey two belts. I can tell you that. She's the longest reigning SmackDown Women's champ and a two-time women's tag team champ along with Sasha Banks. So it's a game changer. I can tell you, it's a really big game changer. I can tell you that right now. So surprising to me, by the way, I will say that. And obviously looks good. But there could be a backlash of triple threat match for the women's tag team titles, that is. And you might as well see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, if you look at the rematch clause against Bailey, Sasha Banks. And don't forget the Iconics, they beat the former longest reigning women's tag team champs, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, by the way. So I think it's fitting that that backlash, you might as well see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Bailey and Sasha Banks versus the Iconics of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Triple threat tag team title match for the women's tag team titles. If that happens in a backlash, I'd be surprised myself. I will say that. I'll be very, very surprised. It was surprised last night when we saw Sasha Banks and Bailey walk out as two-time NXT. I'm sorry, two-time women's tag team champs. Now, let's not forget. Don't forget, Bailey and Sasha Banks. They were the first inaugural women's tag team champs. So Sasha Banks and Bailey, they're two-time women's tag team champs. By the way, I will say that for sure. So they can defend their women's tag teams without backlash, and it could be against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who want their rematch clause, and also the Iconics of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce triple threat tag. They don't have to be pinned. Now, Bailey and Sasha Banks don't have to be pinned to lose the titles, by the way. So that'll be a big surprise right there. If it happens next Sunday, well, you'd be surprised. Others I want to point out to the guys the fact that Takeover in Your House is tomorrow night on live on the WWE Network. By the way, you'll see Karrion Kross versus Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole defends the NXT title against Velveteen Dream in their backlot brawl for the NXT title. You'll see Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox, and Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, and Raquel. Women's women's 6-woman tag match, by the way. And you'll also be seeing John Gargano take on Keith Lee for the NXT North American title. You'll also be seeing Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai versus Charlotte Flair and a triple threat for the NXT Women's title, by the way. And it will change everything right there. So Takeover in Your House is tomorrow night live on the WWE Network, by the way, everybody. So that's all you guys can know just for that. And my boy said, I want to close the show. I want to close the show with this. Now, racism has been a big deal, and it's ruined. It's really wrecked a lot of people's lives. And I can tell you this: that Chris Doyle, who is also the Iowa football strength training coach, he was released from comments that he made after former black football players accused him of making racial remarks. By the way, towards them, towards them for sure. And Chris Doyle, he's out. He's released as the Ohio's strengthening coach, and that's all for that for him. He should never made those comments, and not looking good. Not a good look. I can tell you that. Really, not a good look. So that's pretty much all the news you gotta know for that part. And what more can I say? So Chris Doyle is done. He is out, and another word we said. So there you have it right there, everybody. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it right there for the Clubhouse Sports Report, both YouTube channel and Facebook page. Please be sure you always like and subscribe to the Clubhouse Sports Report YouTube channel and Facebook page by all means necessary. Be sure to send me your comments, your tweets, your thoughts on Roger Goodell saying that the NFL is wrong and that they should listen to their players more often, which they should. And I think it's just safe to say that racism has been a big deal, but I think there has to be a way of ending it, and there has to be a change. There needs to be, social that's going to wipe out the coronavirus. That's going to wipe out, police brutality. It's going to wipe out, you know, wipe out police attacks, wipe out racism for good. And I think that the system has to do that. And obviously, things something's got to give. I can tell you that. So please like and subscribe. What do you thought Roger Goodell's comment saying the NFL was admitted that they didn't listen to the players, that they need to a whole lot more often, which they should. So that's all you guys got to know for that. Also, send your condolences and wish Anthony Johnson speedy recovery as he was recovering from a slight twinge on his left knee while I was training. That is at a Black Lives Matter rally in Watford, England, by the way. So please let me know in the comments what reactions y'all to sending thoughts and prayers out to Anthony Joshua, making surgery on that. So that's all you got to know for now, everybody. Just for now.